people, it's up to people whether they want to turn off their cameras or not.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have your camera on too. Love to see your face, but it's all up to you.
Hello, Kylie.
Hello, Kylie. Nice to see you. Yes, this is quite exciting. I haven't done a public talk before. I'm going to present a slideshow that I presented to the staff. I have been on our public talks with Christina throughout the years, but yeah, this is a new thing for me, so it's quite exciting. Okay, so I think we're just going to start. Kate, what do you think?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So firstly, I'll just introduce myself. My name's Deanne Reyes, and what you probably need to know about me is that I'm very passionate about people. And I'd say that I tend to focus on the potential. And if that's not possible, maybe look at the bigger picture. But I think you guys probably wouldn't be here if you didn't share a similar passion to what I have as well. It's what leads people to counselling or to explore that. And I'm sure that you all have your own story, and coming in with your different life experiences and backgrounds, which is really important. So I've worked for Metavision since early 2013 and graduated from their then 3-year program in 2011. And I have 5 men. And when I say men, I mean boys. I have 5 children who are now men and 4 beautiful grandchildren. And I'm the student support liaison for Metavision, and see how the inner workings of attending a Metavision course have the potential to transform students, which can actually be an uncomfortable process, but still with support we can see amazing transformation. So I support students throughout their journey through the graduate diploma and the masters, as well as student liaison. I also speak to, along with Kate, I speak to enrolling students if they want to have a discussion as well. And I work quite closely with the course coordinators. So I also teach the course that I'm about to present. And I have an assistant who, Veronica Collins is her name. And I'm not sure if she's on this call. Is she on the call, Kate? She said her internet wasn't good. So I
can't see her on there. She might be running late.
Okay, great. So she has graduated from the Metavision course, the holistic counselling skills, as well as the 2-year program. And she's also a practicing therapist. I also help with the other short courses in Metavision, and we have a somatic eco-psychotherapy program starting in September, and a few other really exciting projects in the works. But tonight I'm really thrilled to present to you the 2 courses that we run. And I think it's really essential to understand the format. There's so much that's out there, you know, social media are trying to sell all these different programs. And I guess people want to know, well, what is it that I'm actually going to be doing if I do attend this course? And what is Metavision trying to present to the world? So also tonight, you have the opportunity to be guided through an inner work practice, and this will give you a little taste of an inner awareness and a guided practice. And I know that a lot of you are coming in with your own rituals and practices, which you might have been doing for years, which is really amazing too, and makes a rich environment. And some people will be coming in without that practice of inner work, and it might be new to them. So it's really interesting and important to sort of understand the diversity of people and really embrace that as well, because we're also learning together. It doesn't really matter how you come in to this program. I've also recorded a short conversation with a previous student of the 6-month program, and that'll give you an idea of her experience in her own words. So because my style is collaborative, I love a conversation, and I know that we learn from each other. So if you've got a burning question as we go, you could put it in the chat, and maybe Kate can sort of let me know.
Yep.
Right.
I can do that.
So talking about the wonderful Kate, who's here tonight, I wonder if you want to introduce yourself, because I'm sure a few people have come across you via emails or even in conversation.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you for coming. It's a 6 o'clock dinner time or kids crazy time, so we appreciate you taking the time to meet us. I am Kate. I am the admin manager at Metavision. So I deal with a lot of different things, but mainly I'm on the phone and your first contact when you do reach out. I have spoken to quite a few of you already, so it's nice to see you in person. So I'll be walking you through your whole enrollment process, setting you up, your payments, everything. So yeah, I will be your go-to person and I kind of know everything that's going on within Metavision. So if you haven't already spoken to me, please feel free at any time to give me a call and we can have a chat about your goals, your enrollment, what you're after, and I can guide you in the right direction. So I'm here to support Dee, and I will also be doing this course. I haven't actually done this one, so I'll be starting this course on the 13th of June with everybody else. So I'm sure you'll, if you do join, you'll see me there. Enjoy, guys.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so what we'll be discussing today are the two programs. So firstly, there is the 6-month Holistic Counselling Skills program and the Foundational Counselling Skills, which is a 7-week program with a focus on the micro skills of counselling. Now, this is nestled into that. And sometimes people would do the Foundational Counselling Skills and still continue onwards into the 2nd and 3rd phase. And I'll be discussing all of them so you can actually put them together as we go through the slides. But firstly, I just wanted to acknowledge, the founder of Metavision, which is Christina Nielsen, and she put this course together along with Lizzie Spencer, and I was helping them as well. I've been teaching this course for 8 years, and it's just a lot of the foundation of the program is to do with process work. So Arnold and Amy Mindell, and so process work follows the Tao and the river that can't be pushed, and it's all about being able to work in a moment while relying on feedback from others. And this way of relating can work in groups as well as with individuals. It's a really amazing, powerful approach to working with other people. So we have a deep respect for the individual and individuals and diversity. So that's incorporating the core principles of process work skills. And it avoids the specific jargon, but it embraces the fundamental concepts of deep democracy, which is awareness around diversity and deep acceptance of attitudes. We also work with meta skills, which is something Amy Mindell has created, which is deep spiritual attitudes and beliefs manifest in therapy and everyday life. So what that means is you actually get to know a little bit about yourself and what your meta skills are and what you're bringing into the program. I mean, there is a way that nothing can actually happen without awareness. So awareness of the self, awareness of the other and what is happening for the other. And the relational awareness of an interaction is what we're working with. So what is holistic education? Thomas Hübl, who is an amazing teacher, he talks about inner and outer coherence. So we practice and focus on what's happening on an inner level for students. So the emphasis on the internal that allows the students to become present and aware of what's happening internally while dealing with what is actually happening on an external front. So Attunement is a book that Thomas Hübl has written recently that actually says a lot about what we're trying to bring. And He is an amazing teacher and facilitator. He also wrote a book called Healing Collective Trauma. So this book, that is probably going to go on the list as well, on our reading list. It provides an amazing language for understanding and accessing our inner and outer world. And it's something that we try to embody and teach to our students. So what I want to do is do a guided practice, and I'm not really sure where everyone is, but if they've got some privacy, I know someone's in their car with their children, but I just wanted to give you a taste of what a practice would be like. And Thomas Hubel brings a 3C practice, which is an awareness-based practice, talking about what we just saw on the other slide, the inner and outer coherence, gives you a greater awareness of inside and outside the body and the mind and the emotions. So I'm just wondering if you could just sort of sit a bit quietly and maybe close your eyes if you want to, and feel your feet on the floor. So I'm just going to talk you through this, and I want you to feel in your body and feel how well you're able to feel the various parts of your body. And if it's helpful, take a couple of deep breaths. And as you do, slow down the breathing. So breathe in and breathe out. And this should drop you into your bodily perception. And I want you to notice your posture and the fact that you're breathing. Notice the sensation of sitting and how it feels in your pelvis. Now notice, if you can, any finer sensations such as tingling, streaming, or pulsing sensations, wherever they may be in your body. As you observe these sensations, you're tuning in with the body's data flow. The nervous system animates your bodily perception. Within your body, you might be able to notice areas that feel denser, tense, or perhaps absent, where it's more difficult to connect to any sensation. Perhaps these are stress patterns being communicated in the flow of data. If you can, simply allow yourself to embrace with compassion whatever these sensations you feel in. You might notice a feeling of flow or areas of open perception and resource groundedness. Or you might sense areas of tension, stress, or disconnection. Perhaps you're even hosting these together. Simply notice. Now shift your attention to your emotional body. What does your emotional experience feel like to you in this moment? Is there any emotion to be identified? Or is there perhaps a bit of numbness or a feeling of disconnection? Simply notice whatever is present and embrace your experience with compassion. Check in now with the mind. Is your mind busy, open, tight, curious, relaxed, calm? Simply notice and allow. Ask yourself, what is it that's aware of me noticing the activity of my mind? What part of me is awareness itself? If what you feel and sense and perceive are the letters of a book What is the paper? What is the space that gives information and perception a place to exist? As you notice spacious awareness, consider for a moment other people who have practiced or will practice in a similar way, wherever they are in the world right now. Many thousands of people are turning into the breath, to the body, to the mind, to the emotions, to the spaciousness within and around them, and to awareness itself. As you open your awareness to those other people, you might be able to sense the presence of a whole community that is here right now, practicing with you. And then you have the capacity to sense the wider field and to perceive information that is stored in the social practice. Now, without disconnecting from that wider field, slowly take a breath and then release it. And as you're bringing that field back in, you can open your eyes. And if you like, you can turn your camera on or you can leave it off. All right. So now we've talked about the inner, the outer, the relational, and the wider social fabric. So we've gone into ourselves and then out again into the world. And now we're going to go into some logical discussion around the course. So I know a few of you are here for the Foundational Counselling Skills 7-week bridging course, and the bridging course is can be for people that haven't had counselling skills before, has not studied any modules of counselling before. So you would need to come and do this 7-week program. So what this does is it will have it has 7 weeks of different topics, and we're going to go further on as we keep going with the slides. I'm looking at the slides, but they're actually probably putting me off what I need to talk about next as well. So we're going to keep going because I do have the different topics in different slides. So here we go. Here's the next slide. All right, so phase 1 is deep listening, presence, foundational skills, reflective listening, empathy, emotional intelligence, skillful use of questions, shaping a healing conversation. So these skills all work on top of each other. You think that deep listening is, they're quite simple skills that you think, oh, this is quite easy to do. But then once you work with the topic and you take the information in, then the whole premise is to embody the skills throughout the week. So instead of just reading a book or thinking about the information that you've taken in when you come online to look at, what will happen is you will be using those exercises that you might have and bringing them into your life. So you might use we'll talk about deep listening. So deep listening will be something that you go about your week and you will have conversations, and you'll be listening not only by thinking and, with your ears, you'll be listening with your entire body in a sense. And that will be your focus. So the focus is a very simple skill, but by doing throughout the week, it will actually drop the skill in, which is a bit more helpful way of learning, I think, to be able to learn by doing. The assessment at the end of this phase is to attend a counsellor and write a reflective essay on how the micro skills were used in the session. So by the end of these 7 weeks, because you'll also have a textbook, which I'll talk about soon, that you will be reading each week as well. you'll have a good understanding of the micro skills and be able to say where they have been used and where they haven't been used. And that will give us, whoever's marking your assignment, an idea of how you've gone. It is a reflective essay, so it's not an academic piece of writing, just to let you know. So included during that 7 weeks, and also when we talk about the foundational skills 7 weeks, recognizing that that's also the beginning of the holistic counselling skills program. So the 2-day online workshop, which will be held on the 6th and 7th of July this year, is the first day is theory and discussion around the micro skills of counselling. So the way it works is that we all come in and we bring ourselves into the space as well, and we have, like, I will bring the theory, but we might talk about empathy and sympathy, and that will be a discussion, and we're learning from each other through that as well. So you're learning how to work relationally. So it's really good to be able to share as well, and to be able to hear from others within the group on what their experience has been. So you're learning your skills just by listening and by in conversation too. And on the second day it will be all practice. So you'll be working usually in triads, which is 3 people, which there'll be an observer, there will be a counsellor, and there will be a client. So you will have to be one of those throughout that second day. And so practical skills will be learned too. And this workshop is held 3 weeks into the course. So you've already sort of started studying, and the group really is building up. And the energy of the group also builds. A lot of the feedback that I get about the course is about the workshop in particular, is that people are really surprised at how, even it's an online program, how much you can really connect in with others, and how, yeah, we can go quite deep with our energy. So that's something to think about as well. Some people will say that, you know, they don't work really well online, but we do have a Zoom etiquette to try and sort of connect with each other. And it's really important too that if you're coming in to do this course, that you also have maybe some support, because sometimes, even though you may not want to go a little bit deep, we don't use role play. We use our actual stuff. Even though we don't want you to go quite deep, we try to keep it light, as light as what we can, but sometimes we can't help it. Can I just ask, are there any questions or anything? No? No questions from anybody?
Oh, yeah, I have a question. Sorry. This workshop is included in the foundational 7-week course, as well as being part of the longer 6-month course, correct?
Absolutely correct. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, this is Leah. Sorry.
Oh, Leah. Sorry, I can't see. I can only see like a little, just to give you an idea, I can only see a little panel at the side of my computer. So
no worries.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions?
The assessment on the previous slide was attend a counsellor.
Yes.
Explain to me what that means.
So that means actually going to have a personal counselling session. So you will be attending a counsellor and having your own personal counselling session, where it's just a normal session. And what I would say is to let that counsellor know that you're doing an assignment on the micro skills of counselling. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. Who was that?
That was Ava.
Ava. Thank you. Okay, so let's continue.
Could I just ask a quick question as well? And you may not have the answer yet, but I'm just curious to know what kind of time the class would be on the Thursday and what kind of times the workshops would be.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So really, you can work in your own time. Okay, so the Thursday, what it just means is on the Thursday, we open up the topic and the e-learning platform. So you'll have all your information there that will be available for you by the end of business on Thursday of each week. So we will have a Zoom at the beginning, which the first one will be on the 13th of June, on the Thursday night, which will be around this time, 6 o'clock. And that will be a meet and greet. And then there'll be one at the end of the course, which I'm not really sure what that date is at the
Sure.
moment. Yeah. Does that answer your question, or is it?
It does. And just the workshop date, what kind of times are we required to be online for the workshop days?
Yeah, so it's a big day. It's 9 till 4.
Okay.
So it's
Nice.
like a whole weekend from 9 till 4.
Mhm. Okay, thanks.
My pleasure. Who was that?
My name's Shanti.
Shanti. Thanks, Shanti.
Diane, my name's Andrea, and I also wanted to ask if the 6-month course was a part of the Masters as well, or whether it's quite separate.
It is quite separate because with the Masters, if you looked at the curriculum, it's, you know, the holistic human being, and it works on the theory and practice. This is more, so I'll keep going, and you can see the different fields. I think, and also because it's not as many hours of contact as well, we can't use that. So yeah, so if I keep going, you kind of get an idea. And because this is not, so the holistic counselling skills is not an accredited program. Okay,
Yep.
so that 6-month course is just a certificate course as well. So it's not as deep, there's not as many assignments. It's not really relevant for the other course, but we do things such as conflict, which is a subject in the master's program.
Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's still relevant because it is a foundation of what you'll be going to do as well. So yeah, let's keep going. All right, so what to expect online. So there's a teaching.
Sorry to interrupt. I see there's a question on the chat.
Oh, okay, it's Caitlin.
Sorry, didn't see that.
Okay, that's all right, Kate.
Do you
Can
want me
you
to
read
read
that?
it, or can you see it?
Oh, let me just get to it. Oh yeah. Oh, Kaylin, tuning in from the bus. Okay, the 7-week course is run twice a year, so the beginning of the year and mid-year. So if you didn't come into this one, the next one will be January.
So Dee, she said she's working the weekend of the workshop. So what are her options if she can do the course but not the workshop?
Yeah, so she could possibly sign up and do the course and then do the workshop next year before the program starts. So do the 2-day workshop. So don't miss out on the workshop. You could do it next year with the next group, but you could do the 7-week topics now. Shannon's in the same boat too. Yeah, good option. We try to work where we can. And I think if you are looking at going into the graduate diploma masters, I think it's a really good time to do it now because you're going to be very busy next year, is all I want to say. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just keep going. And there'll be also room for discussion afterwards. And I can answer other questions, it doesn't have to be related to this course either. I can answer other questions as well. Okay, so what to expect online, the teaching podcast. So there's a recording that's online, which could be maybe like half an hour, maybe less, maybe more. It just depends on which topic of the week. So we have some wonderful YouTube videos that are up there that are relevant to the weekly topics, as well as a video. So I will do a video each week, which is just relevant to your cohort, your group, and that's it. And it might be 2 minutes. Group participation is a really key component to the program. Like I feel like what happens is we try to create a bit of a community and then people work together. So I'll do a Zoom, but usually there's one student that may say, okay, well, let's get together who can do Zooms and do practice, which is really good to learn from as well. Peer learning is amazing because you get to do that discussion. Yeah. And you get to learn by, through dialogue, which I think is important. So teacher engagement, 2 Zoom classes held each phase, so one at the beginning and one at the end. You also have access to book in a conversation. So you could book in a conversation with myself or with Veronica, who's my assistant. So that's if you don't get one of the topics, or you're having some sort of issue with something else, or you're a bit late, there's always support. Yeah. So also when you go into the forums and you can put in what your experience has been with the exercises, you'll be learning a lot from reading the other people's contributions as well, because same thing that I'm saying about peer learning. Things will really resonate for you, and sometimes you'll be going through a very similar thing, but there will be regular feedback from the assistant in forum, sometimes from myself as well. So phase 2 is a little bit of a different energy. So it's really was based on effective communication in the workplace, but it's really relevant to everyday life. So Christina does the podcast in this, and Christina Nielsen is the founder of Metavision. She talks about noticing tensions and trouble spots in the first topic, confidentiality, gossip and alliances, power dynamics and rank. We work with conflict 1 and 2 in both weeks, inner conflict, and we also work with outer conflict and teamwork. Now, these sort of, when people do go through this phase, there could be a bit of upheaval, because when it comes to conflict, a lot of people are avoidant of conflict. Myself, I was like that as well. And it's not something we tend to really talk about a lot or discuss. And we do have conflicts. We have family conflicts. We have workplace conflicts. We have all sorts of dynamics and issues that can happen underneath and around. And so it's all about working with ourselves on how we feel. If we can't work with the conflict partner, we work on inner work. So sometimes it's unsafe to work with a conflict partner. That person won't receive it, or it is absolutely unsafe. So we work with that, and you just get to know a lot more about yourself. There's quite a bit of friction in picking up these kind of topics sometimes, but it's really valuable work, and I think the world needs it, actually. Yeah. So there will be an essay on a personal conflict as an assessment, so you get to even learn more and drop in more. And then the third phase, it ties in a bow. And so for all these phases, there will always be textbook readings, which I'll show you the textbook soon, but the application of skills. We work with nonviolent communication as well, and we go more into meta skills and diversity. So, and then we do a revision of the first phase, so how far you've actually come, which is tying it in a bow. And what the assessment is a recording of you as a therapist. So I think it's about 20 minutes, and then you do a critique. So yeah, any questions on this? Anyone? There's something in the chat I can see. Okay, a couple of people have needed to log off. It's fine. Here's the working textbook. So basic personal counselling can be any edition, it's fine. And there'll be chapters to be read weekly. And there can be discussions in the forum with that as well. So I'll just play this video from Susie, who did the
biggest benefit for me.
Oh, 1 second. She did the 6-month program, and she wasn't actually coming in to be a counsellor, which I think, so it doesn't have to be, this work is not just to be a counselor. It does provide the foundations, but it can bring other things as well. Here we go. This is Susie.
Doing the course was actually to do my inner work that we are asked to do throughout the course. It was also learning the vocabulary and the language to have a good conversation with the client. But what I most profited from, I think, is really doing that inner work myself and being on a journey of discovering my boundaries, trying different things around being empathetic, and really learning to be fully present for someone, and understanding that sometimes presence is all that it takes for another person to open up. That was really mind-blowing. The unexpected benefits for me were that I actually changed jobs, which was not my intention before I started the course. But the things I learned, especially in relation to rank and privilege, helped me to see things at my past workplace much clearer. And yeah, so I made the decision to change jobs, and yeah, haven't looked back really. It wasn't my intention to become a counselor. Having said that, I always found myself in a position of being an accidental counselor in my private field and also in the workplace. And this started in kindergarten, basically. And sometimes I felt like I needed more knowledge to really be a good accidental counselor without becoming a professional one. But still, I wanted to, really learn how to be there for another person, but also really do my work around feeling very empathetic, sometimes taking too much on board and not knowing, how to process some of the things that are not mine to keep and to carry around with me. So these were my motives to join that course. Nothing could stop me. No, it was just, it was an easy process to learn about the course and to enroll. Like the admin part of enrolling was easy and straightforward. So yeah, I was curious and I felt a calling. And the way the course was presented, or the way the course content was described, just really spoke to me and it was really tempting for me. Yeah, the biggest takeaway maybe is to keep doing my inner work and trying to be or stay balanced or find my balance to be there for others. Lots of learnings around rank privilege. I actually learned to communicate much better now at resolving conflict or actually daring to speak up in conflict situations. So I guess I gained a lot of self-confidence going through the course. The way I see it is that inner work really helps us to be our authentic self. And what I loved about the course and what I loved about you as a leader of the course was that you encouraged us to be ourselves at all times and not just take on board the vocabulary, standard phrases that you could learn in any other course, but really to show up with what we have and how we are as a person, and really, with our authentic self, show up for others in this world. And that was really great. I would tell them that regardless if they want to actually become a professional counselor and do that for a living, or if they just want to work on their communication skills, conflict management, things like that, or if they just want to go on a journey of self-discovery, there's a lot of content, and there are so many great resources available that this is pretty much.
Oops. Okay, I think I'm going to stop sharing and think. Okay, all right. So I just want to stop sharing, and I just wanted to have like a conversation with people if there's any questions. And I'm sorry that cut a little bit short, but I think you get the gist of what Susie was saying. And she spoke about, you really do get the opportunity to know yourself a lot better and just be able to bring yourself into the world. It's a really interesting thing when we start doing more inner work, or we start really learning what our meta skills are, or being okay with who we are in the world. That's what I learned with studying with Metavision years ago, is to even doing something like this, which is quite edgy for me, doing this public talk is something that if I was going to be authentic and a little bit transparent, is I'm quite terrified of doing this because I haven't done it before. So doing it anyway, but also not being afraid to, be who I am and bring that as a platform too. Does anyone have any questions or want to make a comment or anything? Leah.
Hi, Leah. Hi. I do have a question actually, just about the course over the 7 weeks. If you could please just tell me a little bit about the time requirement outside of the video Zooms, and like to know.
That's a great question.
Thank you.
So if you came in on a Thursday when the course, say a Thursday night when the course was, was opened by the end of the business day, it might be open lunchtime, it might be in the afternoon. So if you decided that you were going to do a Thursday night or a Friday and just sit down with the content, I would say to be about 2 hours, maybe a little bit more, give or take, depending on the topic of the week. And then what I recommend is maybe having a little journal or something, taking that work out into the week and just really living the topic, like remembering that first topic is deep listening. So how do you bring deep listening into your daily life? What does that mean for you? What have you learned from that topic so far? Maybe do some journaling each day or whatever you pick up. And then at the end of the week, that's when you would share in that forum about what came up for you during that week, how it felt for you in that something happened or this happened or whatever it is that has happened to you during the week, and then you share it in the forum. Does that tell you? So then you've got like 2 to 3 hours each week, and that's how it works. But then it's whatever you're taking into your week.
Okay, so there's, in the first component, there's the essay, and then are there essays throughout, or is it journaling and just different types of deliverables and learning?
So what you're sharing each week is on a forum. It's an online forum, and actually Veronica is who my assistant has come in. I hope you don't mind, Veronica, because Veronica provides feedback for that forum as well. Sometimes I do, but Veronica mostly does. And we have a video on the e-learning platform. We've had a discussion about how we provide the feedback as well. I'm wondering, Veronica, if you would like to say hello, introduce yourself, maybe say something. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot.
No, it's fine. Sorry I couldn't get here earlier. The internet was just doing other things. So I've managed to connect. So, hi everyone. I can see some of you. So I would respond to your posts, and I mean, of course, if you need anything separate from that, you can contact me. But basically, it's really all of you learning from each other's learning. So you're sharing what were maybe aha moments for you or what you found interesting. You don't have to do very long posts at all. It's just really commenting on how it may have influenced you in some way or not. You can just say what you liked. And so everyone actually gets something from that, and also views from your perspective. So you're sort of timesing it by 17, if it's going to be 17 of you on there. You're making the learning a much more expanded experience. So, and I mark the essays, but it's not a percentage it's given, it's just a pass according to the level that we're doing.
And it's not just your experience, there are exercises, you know, and there are practice exercises to do. Does that answer your question, Lou?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
I'll just ask a brief question as well, if that's okay. So there's the 2 Zoom classes and the rest is all done on the forum. Is that forum all just writing and reading, or is there like video format as part of that as well?
There's video, and don't forget the 2-day workshop as well, right? So there's also video. There's readings. There's podcasts. So there's an audio to listen to. There's a teaching podcast. So it's not just a lot of reading and writing.
And on the forum, in the sharing, like, do people make video sharing as well, or just writing? Like, I don't actually mind either way. I'm just curious. I just want to know what the expectation.
It's really good. Any questions that people have, even if it's just something small, ask, because other people might be thinking it as well. I'm pretty sure you can share a video on the forum if you like. You can share like an audio of you speaking. Like
Sometimes it's more natural than putting things in words just to speak. So that's why I was curious. Yeah.
More 3-dimensional, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, it would be great. Some people have a really advanced way of using technology, and some are the complete opposite, that it might even be scary that they haven't seen or been in a forum before. So we try to make it as comfortable and as safe. We do have a forum policy that, you know, there is confidentiality and safety, because a lot of people are sharing quite a bit of themselves. Right, Veronica?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. There's the opportunity also to gather in groups yourselves and do your own Zooms. Some students like to get together once a week just to practice some of the exercises. It's not something we ask you to do, but it just feels natural. It seems to happen anyway in the cohort. So that's very helpful, because you get a very different learning experience. And some people get very close, and you know, your friends through it. It's a different kind of support too.
Any other questions?
Dee, maybe you can speak into, for those who aren't using this as a gateway to the grad diploma or the masters, maybe what they might be able to use this course for going on in their life.
Yeah, well, I think this course can be used for pretty much anything relational. So thanks, Eva. Yeah, so anything relational, any kind of relationship with your children as a parent, anything that's going to give you anything, like if you're a hairdresser or, you know, wherever you're working, anything to do with communication. So that's what it'll give you, but it'll also highlight your own communication style and how you react, or how things are for you, which I think is really the basis of communicating, is what is happening within you. What are your feelings about if I can just say, like, if I've ever in some sort of disagreement or something that is difficult, a difficult conversation, if I don't have that awareness of what's happening within me to be able to stop and pause, then I find it really difficult to have a conversation. I think you learn that. I think you also learn who you are and what your boundary. I think it also teaches you boundaries on what you're willing to, put up with, or what you know about yourself. So once you start to know a bit about yourself, you're able to create more of an authentic space around you. If that makes sense. There's one week where we learn congruence, which in counselling, that is sort of like genuineness and being really real and authentic, and recognizing when you're not being that, or you're trying to please people. A lot of us come into a course like this because we're people pleasers, because we want to make people feel better. And it's about being aware of when we're trying to do that, instead of, being able to be authentic when we want to say no, or be okay with saying no, and just really getting to know yourself, as well as obviously working with another, and the micro skills of counselling: empathy, congruence, unconditional positive regard, all those really important subjects. Yeah. Does that answer your question, or does that talk into that, Kate?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thanks, Kaylin. Yeah, so is there any other people wanting to?
Oh, hi, Leah again. This, the opening Zoom would be on the Thursday, the 13th, right?
It will be the meet and greet. It will be around 6 o'clock.
Oh, so if I know now I'm unavailable for that, is that?
I'll record it, and if you wanted to, so you could introduce yourself in the forum as well, like in the online forum. And so if you're unavailable for that, you can also have a chat with me if you like, or Veronica, if you just need to get started like that. But we will record it, and it will be on the e-learning platform, so you get to see everybody as well.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
My pleasure. Anything else you think of, Kate?
Maybe if anyone had any questions in terms of using the bridging course to get the skills to go into a higher ed course. Was that anyone's plan, or was everyone using it as a standalone?
Bridging course, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Well, just so everyone knows, the next one's not until next year. So if you are looking at enrolling in one of the higher ed courses next year, it is great to do the bridging course now, so you've got time to digest it and get it done, and then move into the higher ed courses. Otherwise, it's not next year until February or January, and it's quite a tight timeline leading into the other courses.
Can I ask a question in regards to that?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a few different courses. Does this foundational course lead into any of them, or one particular one that it feeds into?
So the foundational counselling skills would lead into the 6-month program, like we just discussed, but also it's the bridging course for the graduate diploma and the masters, and that's
So you
it.
could do either of those, though, from doing the 7 weeks if you wanted to.
And it will also depend on what other qualifications you are coming in with too.
Okay, sure. Just want to know what the...
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can choose which one draws me the most and check if I've got the qualifications relevant, as well as that 7 weeks.
Yeah, so I would like to invite anybody that wants to have a conversation one-on-one to know what they're wanting to do, or what may be suitable for them, to speak to myself or Kate. Okay. We love to be able to have those discussions. And sometimes it's just that help of being able to really understand.
Sure. Yep, I can book that in. But chances are it's good to do the 7 weeks at least first and see how I go with that and then have the discussion about where it might go next.
Well, see, if you were not knowing, doing a course like the Foundational Counselling Skills may give you that inner knowledge and, you know, because
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in the topic and exploring it. So that's why I thought the 7 weeks is a great place to start.
Thanks, Shanti.
Thank you.
Is it Juani?
It's actually Juanita.
Oh, Juani.
I may have been typing my whole name in, and then I thought, I don't know, something happened and TA fell off my name. So it's just Juanita. Juanita. Yeah, I was just gonna say, you said we could make an appointment to speak with you or Kate one-on-one about perhaps doing the masters. Yeah, because
Didn't we speak on the phone, Juanita? Didn't we speak?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought so.
Yes. Okay. So all that information you sent me, I could have this conversation with one of you
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
this session. Oh, fabulous. Amazing. I'll
I'll
do
make a
that.
note to give you a call.
Oh, how nice. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. That'll be
perfect.
great. Yeah, because it sounds really good. I'm doing a course at the moment and it's gonna take me a longer time, but if I can, this sounds good to the holistic approach rather than the more clinical studies that I'm doing at the moment. It sounds more like something I'm interested in, appeals to me anyway, especially that little meditation thing we did in the beginning. I thought that's so nice because I do hypnotherapy as well, and it's pretty much guided meditation, really, that kind of hypnotherapy. So yeah, I'll make a time to talk to one of you. Thank you.
It's definitely the Metavision way, the inner work, isn't it, Dee? We actually do it in a lot of our staff meetings as well. We start the meeting off because it's just so ingrained in us to check in every time.
Yeah, it's a really important thing. You know, it's helpful for the rest of the day. And when I started, I did a little bit of an inner work exercise before I started, but I was quite nervous. And then when I started doing that inner work and guiding through, I felt a little bit better as well. So yeah, it just goes to show it does work. Yeah, okay. So I think that this is it for this talk. So I would really look forward to a conversation if anyone wants one, but thank you so much for coming, everybody. Really appreciate your presence.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Kate, you want to stop recording?
Oh, yeah.